is Ayaan, and welcome to my tutoring lessons. And I'm gonna be teaching about Algebra 1. The first lesson that we're actually gonna be talking about is solving simple equations. The second lesson we're gonna be talking about is solving multi-step equations. The third lessons we're gonna be talking about is solving equations with variables on both sides. The fourth one is solving absolute value equations. And the last one is rewriting equations and formulas. So, what I'm actually gonna follow is so you can easily access it. It's free, and it's a book that I have learned from. So I know how the book works, and I know what I'm talking about. So I can tell you how to access it. So just follow these steps. So first of all, you just type free easy access student edition in a new tab. Then you'll see something like this. Okay, so you click on the first big header, which just says free easy access student edition. I click on that. It will bring you to a page, like it will say like choose your program. It will not be this page, but you'll choose a program, and you'll go to Common Core High School, and then you'll press go. It'll bring you to these three books. So for now, we're going to be talking about Algebra 1. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And we'll be starting off with, obviously, Chapter 1. And our lesson 1.1, solving simple equations. So let's go ahead and jump into the lesson. So in this lesson, you'll basically learn like solving linear equations with using addition and subtraction, and also using multiplication and division. Okay, so an example of like a linear equation or just an equation is a statement that two expressions are equal. So if you have A and if you have B, okay, they both are equal to each other. So you can say A equals to B. Or if you say x plus 10 equals x plus 10, that's an equation which is equal to each other. Okay? So a linear equation has one variable, okay, and it's written in the format of ax plus b equals 0. So where the a and the b are basically just constant, and the a is not 0. Uh, so the solution of an equation is basically a value that makes an equation true. Okay, so for example now, if you look in the core concept section below, you'll see two things that we're going to learn about: addition property of equality and subtraction property of equality. We will be talking about multiplication and division, but that will be later on in this lesson. So for addition property of equality, it basically means you're adding the same number to each side of an equation, which will produce an equivalent equation. So for example, as you can see over on the screen where I'm hovering my mouse, it says if A equals B, then A plus C equals B plus C. So that means if A is given a value of 10 and C is given a value of 6, okay, and C is also given the value, C is given a value of 6 and A is given a value of 10, and B is also given a value of 10. So you know that A equals B because 10 equals 10. So if you plug in the equation, 10 plus 6 or A plus C equals 10 plus 6 or B plus C, which is 10 plus 6 equals 10 plus 6, which is 16 equals 16. So that's your addition property of equality. So you're adding the same number to each side to make the equation produce an equivalent equation. Or like an, yeah, it's just an, it has to be like two sides are basically equal to each other. Now, subtraction property of equality is basically the same thing, but instead of adding, you're subtracting. So it's when you subtract the same number from each side, like how you did in the addition, but you're adding in that case. This time you're subtracting the same number from each side to produce an equivalent equation. So for example, I again take A equals 10, B equals 10, C equals 6. Okay? Sorry. So I know that A equals B because 10 equals 10. Okay? And A minus C, which is 10 minus 6, equals B minus C, which is 10 minus 6. So 10 minus 6 equals 10 minus 6, and that equals to 4 equals 4. So we know that these two properties work, okay? And now we're going to solve a question actually with that. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new tab, and I'm going to show you how to do this, okay? It's it's simple, but I'll show you how to do it. So let's go ahead. I'll just open a new tab. And let's see. Let me just go ahead and open it. Yep. Oh, I think it's that one right here. Come on. Yep. So that's just the practice question. We'll leave that to the side. So now, I'll just go to Tutoring tool and show it to you. Do you guys want to make? I'll take the small one. So for example, now the first one says x minus 3 equals negative 5. So I'll just write it out for you guys. X minus 3 equals negative 5. Okay? Now, tell me if this is an addition or subtraction. You can pause the video if you want. So basically, to make this thing equal, right? This is addition because, for example, you take a negative, but you want to add something to the other side. So on this case, it would be, now you want to just leave x alone. In algebra, you just want to leave x equal to in value. So in this case, you'll have to do plus 3 to leave x alone. So minus 3 plus 3 equal 0. And then, as the addition property of equality says, if you're going to add a number on one side, you have to do it on the other side too. So we're going to add plus 3 over here. So that will give a result of x. Oh, my thingies. Come on. Yeah. X equals, and negative 5 plus 3 is 2. Seriously. I'm just going to use. Okay. So that's your first answer. Now in B, it says 0.9. So we're just going to do, I'll just go down. 0.9. Oh my god. 0.9 equals y plus 2.8. Y plus 2.8. Okay. Now, in this case, what do you have? So in the last one, you had x. In this case, you have y. So in algebra, it does not matter what letter you use. The most common are x and y. You'll see in many other like practice that we do, or like in the extra practice I give you at the end, they'll have a lot of x and y's mainly. But we use lots of letters. Every letter you can use anywhere in the algebra. But for now, we're using x and y as it states in the question. So now in this case, what do you have to do first is you need to isolate the y. So to do that, what do you have to do? Plus 2.8 or minus 2.8? Well, if you want to cancel out the 2.8, and if it's already plus, so that means you have to get rid of the 2.8, so you have to do minus 2.8 on this side. And like addition, but this is subtraction property of equality, we have to subtract or add the same number on each side. Well, this is subtraction property of equality since we're subtracting negative 2.8 from one side. So we're going to have to do the same from this side too. Negative 2.8. So that's going to give you a resulting of, that's going to be 1.9, right? Yeah. 1 point, no. Yeah, 1.9. It's going to be negative 1.9 equals y. Let's just go ahead and check the answers. Yeah. So, as we can see, we got x equals. Did I do it wrong above? Oh my god. I actually did it wrong. I'm sorry. It was negative 2. I just got my mind diverted. It's alright. So, yeah, we got both of our answers correct. So, we got x equals negative 2, right? We got y equals negative 1.1. Yay. So, now we have some practice. I'll give you like a minute or two. You can go ahead. And if you just want to pause the video, here we can, you know what? I'll take a screenshot of this. I'll just paste it on here. So these are the questions. If you want to go ahead and solve them for extra practice, you can go ahead. I'll give you a minute or two, and then we'll do each one of them. So for number 1, you have n plus 3 equals negative 7. I'm just going to write it out again for our understanding. Okay? So in this case, you want to isolate the n. So like I said, we use different letters in algebra. It's okay. You don't need to be scared. It's letters, and letters are basically given a value. Okay? So like the ones that we did, which one will you use? Which will be subtraction property of equality. Because you want to isolate n and you want to give a value to n. Okay? So you want to get rid of the 3. Well, since it's positive, you have to do minus 3 to equal to 0. So you'll do minus 3 on this side. And that means since we're doing property of equality, or like anything like addition or subtraction like we did above, we need to do minus on one side, the same value on minus on the other side. So we'll do minus 3 on this side too. And that will give a result of n equals, I know that looks like an H, but it's okay. So that will be negative 7, negative 3, which just gives a result of negative 10. Okay, so that's for your first answer. I hope you got that correct. Now what we're going to do is the second one. And this one's fraction. You should be able to do it. I will help you through it if you can't, but let's just go ahead and solve it. So you have g minus 1 over 3 equals negative 2 over 3. Just make that negative, yeah. I think that looks better. So you want to isolate the g and give it a value. So what you will do is, to get rid of the negative 1 over 3, you'll have to do addition on this side and addition on the other side. So you'll do plus 1.3 on this side and plus 1.3 on this side. So that will give a result of g equals, so negative 2 over 3 plus 1 over 3. So just think it as like negative 2 plus 1 equals what? That's going to be negative 1. So that will be negative, oh, that was a bad one. That will be negative 1 over 3. Oh. So that's your answer. G equals negative 1 over 3. I hope you've been getting your answers correct till this point. Okay? Let's just go further and do all of them correct. Let's hope. Now, what we can do is negative, I'm sorry, let me write out this first. So negative 6.5 equals P plus 3.9. Okay? So now you have negative 6.5 equals P plus 3.9. So in this case, what you'll have to do, isolate the p. That's your first step. What do you want to isolate? Well, you have to give p a value. Okay, so you have, it's already plus 3.9 on one side. Okay, so you have to subtract 3.9 on both sides now. Now what you can do is, well, that cancels out. Okay, and this will be 4, 14, 1. That would be 10. Negative 10.4. I equals P. I. So I hope you got all of them correct. I. So, well, that's a good part. I hope you've understood that part of the lesson. Now let's move on to the second half of the lesson. Okay? Okay. So for this one, now we're doing by multiplying or dividing. Okay? So the first half of the lesson was addition and subtraction. The second part is multiplication and division. Alright? So multiplication property of equality says multiplying each side of an equation by the same non-zero number produces an equivalent equation. Okay? So that means in algebra terms, okay, we have to start thinking into algebra terms. So these like rules start going into our brain and we understand what it means, okay? So it means, as in algebra terms, or like in equation types, it says if A equals to B, then A times C equals B times C when C is not equal to 0. So A is 10, like always. B is also 10. C is 6. Okay, C is 6. So 10 times 6, or A times C, equals 10 times 6, or B times C, which is 60 equals 60. Okay? So that is a multiplication property of equality. You're multiplying each side by the same non-zero number. If you multiply by 0, it's gonna give you 1. I mean, no, wait. I forgot, but it's okay. But it's gonna give you, it can change your answer, okay? So you have to remember it has to be a non-zero number, which will produce an equivalent equation. Division property of equality is the same thing like addition, subtraction, multiplication, but now instead of multiplication, we're dividing. So if A equals to B, as in algebra terms now, okay, so we're basically dividing the equation by the same non-zero number again to produce an equivalent equation. Okay, so now in algebra terms now, if A equals to B, then A divided by C equals B divided by Z when C is not equal to 0. Okay? Especially in this one, if you have C equal to 0, that's going to give you an undefined answer. Okay? It's like the answer is going to be undef. That's the abbreviation for undefined. Okay? You have to always remember you cannot divide a number which is equal to 0. Okay? You can divide it by 0.1, 0.2, negative 0.1, but never 0. It will give you an answer called as undefined. Okay? That's a really important rule. Okay? So, that means if I have A divided by C, which is 10 divided by 6, as we've been doing every time, and 10b divided by c, which is 10 divided by 6, your outcome's going to be the same because each side is the same equation you're doing, or expression to be in fact. But 10 divided by 6 equals 10 divided by 6. So whatever outcome you get is going to be the same outcome you get on the other side. So both sides have to be equivalent. Alright? So now, oh, sorry for almost giving you the answers. But now we're going to go take a step ahead. Okay? And we're going to do some problems regarding this. And then I'll give you some like 2 or 3 extra more problems for more practice on this half of the lesson. And then I will give you your extra practice, like just like 10 problems at max, maybe. I'm not really sure, but I have 10 problems selected from this book only, and I'll give you that for extra practice if you want to practice and look back to my videos. I So what you can do now is I'm actually just gonna go ahead. Do you guys want me to take a screenshot or no? I'll just take a screenshot. Okay. Let's just take a screenshot. I think it's better. Okay. Oops, wrong one. Oh, there it is. Let me just put that in. Copy in. Okay. Okay. Now, I'm just gonna make my walls separate each answer. Okay. So I will give you time. I'll give you like a minute. You can pause the video, take your own time how to do this. But I will be showing the explanation to this. So I'll give you like 10 seconds for now. Okay. So I know that was a quick 10 seconds, but you can take your own time to solve these. You can refer back to them if you want to know how to solve these. So yeah. Let's just go with number 1. So we have negative n over 5 equals negative 3. Okay. So wait, let me just. Oops. Okay. Okay. So in this case, what you want to do is that you want to isolate the n, okay, and give it a value. So wait, let me just move to the side because this one's a little longer. Not longer, but it's gonna take a little outside step. So in pre-algebra, something you might have learned how to isolate fractions and multiply them, okay, and do this on the other side and make it equal. So what I mean is, you have a negative and a 5 over here. So what we're going to do is, we're going to times negative 5 on this side to cancel out these two negative 5s, because we don't want to deal with negative n and then do it by negative 1. You will know what I mean, okay? So, and then what we'll do is, we'll multiply this by negative 5. I know we're running out of space, so I'm just trying to like speak it more out because I know you can't like clearly see it, but yeah. So that means this is going to cancel out. So it's just going to be n equals to negative 3 times negative 5. Same sign when multiplying. So it's going to be positive for sure. 3 times 5 is 15, as we know. I hope. Just joking. Okay. So n should equal to 15. I hope that's what you guys got. Just for letting you know, this is some practice you guys can be doing by yourselves also if you want to like just like practice on your own, or you could just be going through these with me because I will give you like 3 or more on half of this lesson for extra practice, but you could be doing more practice if you want, just to know if you don't understand it. Yeah. So now what we're gonna do over here is for B. So this is, in case you're wondering, the symbol right here. I know it's a little bolded circles, but it's called as the pi. Just have heard of it before. It's called pi x, so that's your first side, equals negative 2 pi. Alright? So in this case, what's your variable? Not pi, because pi is actually a value, but we're not talking about the value over here. It's just the symbol for now. So what you see is x. X is your variable, okay? So what you want to do is isolate the x. So what you'll do is, now in this case, you're dividing, okay? The last one over here, when it was like that fraction, negative n over 5 equals negative 3, you were multiplying on both sides. Now, in this side, you have to divide because you want to isolate it. So what you're going to do is pi divided by pi equals negative 2 pi divided by pi. So that's going to be, this cancels out. right? Pi over pi cancels out. It's just like saying like 1 over 1. So that's actually gonna be x equals, well, in this case, it's just saying like, look, pi is basically just saying, okay, I'm 1 pi. It's just calling us 1 pi. So if you want to like ever look towards it, here, I'll write it for you too, for this one also. It's basically just saying 1 pi over 1 pi, which is just 1 or 0 because you're canceling out, so it's totally gone from that side. Okay, so this one's gonna be negative 2 pi over 1 pi. So in this case, also pi cancels out, okay? And you're just left with negative 2. Uh, okay? And in case you're wondering, if you're a little confused about this, we can recheck by saying pi. You can plug in the x value as negative 2 equals negative 2 pi. That's the other side, the right side. And that means negative 2 pi equals negative 2 pi. So you know that's a check. That's your checking. If you ever want to check for any of these, that's how you check. You plug in the value of the variable you got, or for example, saying x, you plug it into the equation, you solve it just like a normal equation, okay? Just with the values just given, you just solve it, and then you just see if your answer comes out. So, for example, two sides have to be equal in all three of these, okay? So that's my thing. So just remember always, if you ever get confused, make sure to recheck your answer. So in this one, it's saying 1.33 z equals 5.2. In this case, you want to isolate the z, okay? So what you're going to do in this one is going to be dividing 1.3 and 5.2 divided by 1.3. Okay, so that will be z equals, well, 1.3 times, well, technically 1.3 times 3 is actually 3.9, 3.9 plus 1.3, that's going to be 5.2. So that means 1.3 times 4 is equal to 5.2, so 5.2 divided by 1.3 is 4. Always inverse. Just like, if you can easily calculate by multiplication, then you know that your answer is correct by doing it dividing. Okay? So your answer is z equals 4. Okay? Now, we're going to do some extra practice. Yay. Alright, so for just checking these, n equals 15, x equals negative 2, z equals 4, negative 4. Oh wait, is it 4? Yeah, it's 4, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said negative. N equals 15, we got negative 2 as x, z equals 4. Yay. So we know all our answers are correct. Now what we're going to do is actually solve more problems. Why not? And I'm giving you a lot of problems, but it's for your help, Lee. So we're gonna paste it. I'm gonna do some. I'll give you like 15 seconds now. I'll give you some 5 extra seconds. And you know what? I'll just be more prepared and write these out until then. So go ahead and pause the video if you want and write it out or do it in a notebook. I recommend, I'm sorry if I didn't say it before, but I recommend doing these on a separate piece of paper and keeping a notebook for this whole, like, not playlist, but it's like all these lessons. These will help you clear Algebra 1. These are like all the lessons I've gone through. So keep a separate notebook for yourself also, and use a paper and a pencil, and always have an eraser with you, because if you make a mistake, you don't want to scratch out with a pen. So like, that's why I just use a pencil. That's what I would recommend. Sorry for telling you all of you so late, but I recommend using a pen, no, not pen, but paper and pencil. Alright. So now I have You guys can go ahead and solve this if you want, and pause the video if you want, and I'll just write until these out until then. So you have like time until I write these all out. I'm almost done. Be careful. I'll give you like 10 extra seconds. Just give me. Alright, so now we have 3 questions ahead in front of you. So using the technique, not the technique, it's not a sport, but I'm just trying, I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes all these days, but using what we have learned above, okay, what we can do is, we know that y over 3 equals negative 6, okay? So what we did before, for this one, we're going to use the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. Multiply 3 on this side, and multiply 3 on the side. Okay? So that cancels out 3. Y is left alone, isolated like we always wanted, because we want a value. Okay? So with that, we have negative 6 times 3, which is what? Negative 18. Nice. So I hope you guys got negative 18. If you didn't, go back and check if you did anything wrong. Maybe you might have missed the sign of the negative. You might have done it wrong. You might have multiplied wrong. It happens. It's okay. Even I mess up. So remember to see if you got y equals negative 18. If you didn't, go back and resolve it. Or look at the steps which I did. Alright? Number 5, or number 2 technically, we have so you have x as a variable, and you have 9 pi equals pi x. So in this case, you're going to divide pi. Cancel this out. You're going to divide pi. First again, I would say make a 1, make a 1, make a 1 right here. Cancel this out now, because pi over pi cancels out. So that would be left with 9 over 1, which is 9, equals 1 pi x over 1 pi, which is left as x. So 9 equals x, or x equals 9. So I hope that's what you got. Go back and solve, or recheck actually for this one, because this one, like we did it above, I would say go back and put it in, understand how to do it. Even if you got it right, understand how you did it. Okay? Look back, okay? And if you did it wrong, look at my steps, look at maybe your steps, okay? I would recommend for these type of problems where you have like pi or like proper like math symbols, which are like used in the real actual like hard problems. I'm not just saying hard, but like hard problems. I would say always just like go back and check, because anyone can mess up, because pi is actually like 3.14. So you're gonna be thinking like, oh, 9 times 3.14 equals 3.14x. Well, since it's just a symbol right now, okay, we're just gonna utilize the symbol's value. Okay, so always make sure to recheck your answer, especially when you're understanding like the core, and like when you're developing the skills of algebra 1, especially. Okay, so yeah, or just like any math problem, not even algebra 1, just anything. Alright, so number 6 is actually saying 0.05 w equals 1.4. So you want to isolate the w, give it a value. So you would do divide 0.05 on both sides. 0.05. You cancel this out. W will equal to 28. I. So, yeah. Hope you got all of these correct. I. And now what you can do is actually, you know what? Let's try. Oh wait, you can't check them, but okay, fine. So you know what? I'm gonna give you guys some extra practice. And so number 5 to 14, you can take a snip, or oh, where'd it go? Actually, where'd it go? Right there. I'm willing to. You can take a screenshot of this, or you can also access in your free time. I can drop the link right now below, or I can just like type it out right now. Give me 1 second. I'll just type it out for you guys. Here is the link. Wait, give me 1 second. Let me make this bigger. Give me the book thing. So this is the book that we're gonna be using. So, okay, what is wrong with this? Yep, that's the link. Go ahead and copy. So yeah, so we have completed this lesson solving simple equations. Next time when we're gonna meet is gonna be solving multi-step equations. So I hope you guys have a great day. Okay, enjoy your day. Learn more math like this. It's fun. Okay, it's really fun. When I took Algebra 1, it was so fun. Okay, I had one of the best teachers. Okay, so enjoy Algebra 1. Okay, and I look forward to seeing my other videos. So, yeah, have a great day. Bye. Enjoy more for more tutorials on this Algebra 1, especially. And I will keep trying to do more, but yeah, great day. See ya. Peace out. I hope you guys have fun learning with me. And remember, my name is Ayaan, and I'm from KARMANT Learning. And yeah, please keep liking and subscribe to the videos.